Right now, somebody in Dallas is finalizing Mother's Day brunch plans, and a squall line is already forming tonight. Tonight, severe storms are firing across Oklahoma with golf ball hail possible before midnight. And the number I keep coming back to, 100 temperature records, could fall by Wednesday out west. Storms tonight, an enhanced risk on Mother's Day, record heat building, and a late May outbreak all stacking up simultaneously. Stay with me because there is a lot happening across this country this weekend, and every single piece of it matters. And at the end, I have something about the third week of May that both major models are now agreeing on. Write it down. Let me start with tonight because this is affecting a lot of people's Saturday evening plans right now. An upper-level low has been parked over West Texas all week, spinning and sending energy outward in all directions. Tonight, that energy pushes northward into Oklahoma, and the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk in place. Central and eastern Oklahoma, including Tulsa and Oklahoma City, severe weather opens around 5 this afternoon. The primary threat tonight is large hail. These storms could produce golf ball-sized stones or larger this evening. Wind gusts and an isolated tornado round out tonight's hazard profile across western and central Oklahoma. Drop your city in the comments right now. Tell me your Mother's Day plans and what the sky looks like outside. I will answer every city individually if you are in the Texas storm zone or somewhere else. I want to hear from you. Here's the part about tonight that genuinely stopped me when I first pulled up the tornado parameter data this morning. Before sunset, tornado potential is actually quite low. Moisture is still surging northward, keeping the surface too dry. But the moment the sun goes down tonight, this atmosphere flips completely, and it flips way too fast for comfort. Significant tornado parameter values approach 4 to 5 after sunset. That is the atmosphere giving a real warning. Nighttime tornadoes are significantly more deadly than daytime ones. You cannot see a wall cloud at midnight. A tornado warning goes off while your family is asleep, and your window to reach shelter is a fraction of daytime. If you live in a mobile home near Altus Lawton or Wichita Falls tonight, you need a plan to get to a solid structure. That plan needs to be made right now, not at 9 tonight when the first warning drops on your phone. Make sure your alerts are set to wake you up, not just buzz, but a sound loud enough to pull you out of sleep. Any storm staying discreet after 8 near Weatherford or west of Oklahoma City is dangerous after dark tonight. Altus Lawton, Wichita Falls, stay alert from 8 o'clock onward, not just watching but actively monitoring tonight. Dale in Altus Carrollton Lawton tonight is the night you confirm your shelter plan before you sit down for dinner. By 9 to 10 tonight, any storm remaining discreet could produce a significant tornado. EF2 or stronger is possible. By 10 to 11, storms cluster near Tulsa and McAllister, and the tornado threat shifts to straight-line winds. Once those storms cluster, the tornado risk drops, but damaging winds become the concern through the overnight hours. Around midnight, that complex crosses the Red River and moves into North Texas, including Dallas-Fort Worth. Dallas, if you go to bed Saturday night, do not be surprised if thunder wakes you up at 1 or 2 in the morning. These overnight DFW storms are weakening but still capable of gusty winds and locally heavy rainfall. Set those alerts. Set your overnight alerts before going to bed tonight, Dallas. This is a wee hours event and your phone needs to wake you. Further south along the I-10 and I-20 corridor, a stalled boundary is producing persistent heavy rainfall all day today. Southern Mississippi and Louisiana since Wednesday are approaching historic rainfall totals for any May event, no joke. Any additional rain on those saturated soils runs off immediately. Flash flooding risk is elevated all day today. Turnaround, do not drown applies without exception across the I-10 corridor today. No flooded road is worth your life. New Orleans Gulfport Mobile, you are already seeing 2 to 3 inches of additional rain on top of what fell this week. If you live near low-lying areas or creeks that rise fast in southern Louisiana, have an exit plan ready before tonight. Now let me talk about tomorrow, Mother's Day Sunday, and I want to give you the honest picture first, plain and simple. For most of the country, Mother's Day is actually going to be a reasonable day, and I genuinely mean that. The Midwest, Northern Plains, and West Coast outside the heat zone are looking manageable to genuinely nice tomorrow. The Great Lakes and Ohio Valley stay below normal in temperature, but severe weather threat there is minimal Sunday. New England runs cool and breezy, but not a washout. Mother's Day plans in the middle of the country look okay. The 2 areas with real weather concerns Sunday are the Southern Plains and the Southeast. Both need your attention. For Texas, the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded the outlook, and the setup is legitimately concerning Sunday afternoon. That upper-level low over West Texas is the main juice, but tomorrow a cold front arrives as a second lifting mechanism. When those 2 features combine, the atmosphere gets overturned. Think of 2 separate engines firing at the same time. Instability values reach 2 to 3,000 Sunday afternoon, more than enough fuel for significant severe storms. 60 to 70% of the Dallas through Central Texas corridor sees storm activity at some point Sunday afternoon. The threat profile includes large hail-damaging winds, flash flooding rainfall, and a tornado threat that cannot be dismissed. Now here is your city-specific breakdown for Sunday. Find your city and pay attention to your exact window. Dallas-Fort Worth storm window opens around noon and runs through approximately 3 to 4 in the afternoon. If you have outdoor Mother's Day plans in DFW, be prepared to move them indoors by midday Sunday, no exceptions. Bob in Dallas, Margaret in Fort Worth confirm your indoor backup plan before you go to bed tonight, not tomorrow morning. Waco Temple. In the I-35 corridor, you are in the primary path as the storm complex tracks southward Sunday afternoon. Peak window in Waco runs roughly 2 to 6 in the afternoon, large hail, and damaging winds are the main concern. San Antonio storms reach your area by early evening Sunday, weakening as they push further south through the night. Austin falls between Waco and San Antonio on timing plan for mid-afternoon through early evening as your peak window. Abilene and San Angelo, you're inside the enhanced risk zone Sunday, and the hatched area for significant hail is real. The hatched significant hail zone covers the Abilene to Dallas corridor, meaning golf ball to tennis ball hail is possible. Any vehicle parked outdoors in that hatched zone Sunday afternoon is at serious risk of hail damage. Park it inside now. For the timing in North Texas, storms develop early and move southeast, meaning DFW sees storms before Central Texas. That means if you are in DFW and you see storms to your north or west, your window is already open and closing fast. Oklahoma tail end of tonight plus initial Sunday development means storm activity runs continuously through Sunday morning. Keep alerts active in Oklahoma through Sunday morning. Outflow boundaries from overnight storms set Sunday afternoon placements. Shreveport and Little Rock slight risk Sunday evening as that squall line pushes eastward through the mid-south overnight. For the southeast, Sunday flooding threat is real and serious. Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida Panhandle all affected. Atlanta and Georgia, additional rainfall is possible Sunday, more of a flooding rain event than a severe weather outbreak. Nashville and Memphis Monday brings the trailing edge through the Tennessee Valley, wind gusts and heavy rain possible. Charlotte, Raleigh, and Richmond Monday into Tuesday, that system sweeps through the Carolinas and Mid-Atlantic corridor. A weak coastal low brings wind and rain to the northeast Sunday, not a nor'easter, but enough to disrupt outdoor plans. If you have outdoor plans at the beach along the northeast coastline Sunday, have an indoor alternative ready, heads up. Monday carries a marginal risk from the central Gulf Coast through the Carolinas, mainly damaging wind gusts that day. Now let me turn to the story that is going to dominate weather headlines for the next 5 days, the heat out west. What is building right now across Southern California and the desert Southwest is a full-blown dangerous heat dome. The National Weather Service is projecting 22 broken temperature records for Monday alone, 22 in one day. Triple-digit highs stretching from the San Joaquin Valley through the Los Angeles Basin and into the desert Southwest Monday. Death Valley approaching 116 degrees, Phoenix heading toward 110 to 112, good grief. Las Vegas, Palm Springs, Tucson, all deep into dangerous heat territory with heat advisories already in effect right now. I expect those advisories upgraded to excessive heat warnings before this weekend is even over. That is not a drill, folks. And here is what makes this heat dome different. It is not staying in the desert. It is expanding northward fast. Northern Utah heading into the 90s, Monday 90s building across the Dakotas by Monday and Tuesday. Idaho reaching toward 96 degrees, Tuesday 90s, spreading into Oregon and Washington by Wednesday, buckle up. Betty and Phoenix Earl in Las Vegas, you have been through heat before, but this one deserves a different level of respect. The heat is not just a Southwest story, it is expanding up the entire West Coast at a genuinely alarming pace. West Texas and western Oklahoma triple-digit heat by Monday and Tuesday with a kicker most people are not expecting. The ground has been saturated by weeks of rainfall, and southwest winds are pulling that soil moisture up as humidity. That combination dramatically amplifies the felt temperature heat indices approaching 105 to 110. Frank in West Texas, you have been dealing with cold and soggy conditions all week. The swing happens in 48 hours. Florida widespread 90s with heat indices approaching 100 through Central and South Florida tomorrow Sunday. Keep that in mind for any outdoor Mother's Day activities in Florida. The humidity makes dangerous heat arrive fast. The heat peak is Monday through Wednesday with approximately 100 records broken across those 3 days combined. This is a major life-threatening heat event for the desert Southwest and Southern California. The action items are serious. Phoenix, Las Vegas, Death Valley, Palm Springs, Tucson, California, Central Valley, hydrate aggressively starting right now today. Identify cooling centers in your area right now before Monday. Not when you are already feeling the heat peak hit you. Check on elderly neighbors and family members every single day through Wednesday. Unexpected heat catches people flat-footed. Never leave people or pets in parked vehicles under any circumstances. Interior temps can exceed 150 in minutes. Limit outdoor activity to before 9 in the morning and after 7 in the evening on peak heat days this week. Cool, pale, clammy skin with rapid, weak pulse and nausea that is heat exhaustion. Move to a cool environment immediately. Hot, red, dry skin with rapid, strong pulse and confusion that is heat stroke. That is a medical emergency. Call 911. Here is something important about this heat event that is genuinely different from a typical summer heat wave out west. In July, your body has spent months adapting to heat. Right now in May, your body is still calibrated for spring temperatures. That gap between what your body expects and what the thermometer says is exactly where people get hurt in May heat events. A temperature that would feel manageable in August can be dangerous in May because your body has no heat acclimatization yet. That is why the NWS is treating this as a major life-threatening event even for areas that regularly see summer heat. Behind the heat dome, northwest flow keeps the Great Lakes Ohio Valley and northeast chilly through mid-May wild contrast. Temperatures running well below normal for mid-May across the eastern half of the country through at least the 15th. Cover your garden plants, monitor frost and freeze risk across the northern tier, and keep cold air and Corn Belt planting decisions. Minneapolis and Chicago are running more than 10 degrees below normal for mid-May, while Phoenix approaches 112. That is the kind of temperature contrast across this country right now that produces extreme and volatile weather patterns. Now here's the part I want you to really sit with the pattern shift building toward the third week of May. Around May 18th through the 20th, the atmosphere sets up for another major active severe weather and heavy rain period. The heat dome over the west starts breaking down as a new trough builds from the west, and that swap changes everything. Trough in the west ridge shifting east, that is the classic configuration for an amplified subtropical jet stream pattern. When that jet amplifies in late May with all this stored heat and moisture, the atmosphere is absolutely loaded and ready. Think of it this way, every extra day of heat building this week is more fuel sitting in the tank for May 18th. The geography shifts northward instead of the I-10 and I-20 corridor taking the brunt. The storm track moves north. The full state of Texas gets involved, and the track lifts into Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and potentially Iowa. Northern California finally gets some rain. Phoenix could see the first meaningful monsoon precursor moisture arriving. Rounds of severe storms and heavy rain on the table from May 18th through 22nd or 23rd mark it down. Flooding concerns will be significant given how much moisture has already soaked into Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi this week. Confidence is moderate on that late May window, but the pattern evolution is consistent across multiple modeling systems. Both major models agree on that May 18th signal, and when the Euro and GFS align this far out, you take it seriously. Now here is something the models are also hinting at that connects all of this to the bigger picture for the rest of 2026. We are forecasted to have one of the strongest El Niño events on record developing from October 2026 into winter, and we are already starting to feel the very first fingerprints of that transition in the weather patterns of May. The subtropical jet is beginning to strengthen and become more active, and that is the El Niño signal showing up early. Historically, when El Niño begins establishing itself in late spring, it often triggers the most active storm periods of the year. The late May window we are watching around May 18th fits exactly that historical El Niño transition pattern. And the precipitable water values being projected for that third week of May 200 to 300% above average. 200 to 300% above average precipitable water is not just heavy rain that is flash flooding at scale. Flash flood watches are likely across a good part of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and potentially into Missouri and Kentucky. That moisture surge will likely shift well north too. Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all potentially in the active zone. Good 4 to 5 inch rainfall totals are not out of the question across that corridor from May 18th through the 23rd. For context, the areas that just got soaked this week could see another round of that same magnitude in 10 days. That kind of back-to-back flooding scenario is exactly what emergency managers and river gauges are going to be watching. Drop your city below right now and tell me which threat you are most concerned about in your area this weekend specifically. Are you in the Texas storm zone, the California heat zone, the freeze zone up north, or watching from somewhere quiet? Here is your complete action list for this weekend and the week ahead. No fluff, just what actually matters right now.
Tonight, Oklahoma slight risk for Tulsa and OKC peak window 5 to 9 this evening. Alerts on before you go outside.
You think overnight storms arriving 1 to 2 in the morning. Set alerts before bed. Your phone needs to wake you up tonight. Southern Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, Panhandle ongoing. Flash flooding threat all day. Turn around, do not drown without exception. Mother's Day, Texas. Dallas noon to 4 Central Texas. 2 to 8 indoor backup plans confirmed before tonight, not tomorrow. Southeast Sunday flooding threat continues more of a rain event than severe weather, but still serious given saturated soils. Northeast Coast Sunday wind and rain not a washout, but enough to disrupt outdoor plans. Have that indoor alternative ready. Monday through Wednesday, historic heat emergency for the desert Southwest and Southern California, 22 records Monday alone. Phoenix, 110 to 112, Death Valley near 116 hydrate, now locate cooling centers today. May 18th through 22nd, next major active period, emerging severe storms and heavy rain. Texas through central U.S. Flash flood watches likely across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Iowa, Minnesota. 4 to 5 inch totals possible that week. Do me a solid right now. If someone you know is in Dallas, Waco, or Sunday's storm zone, send this to them before tonight. A heads up from someone they trust is worth 10 push notifications they will swipe past without reading on Mother's Day morning. We are tracking every storm cell, every model shift, and every heat record as this wild weekend unfolds notifications on. Drop your city in the comments, tell me your Mother's Day plans and what the sky looks like outside right now. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms watching. You deserve a wonderful weekend, and I want to make sure you have the full picture. To everyone else, take care of the mothers in your life this weekend and keep one eye on the weather while you do it. Stay safe out there, stay heads up on those alerts tonight, and we will see you in the next update.